reason I would ask them to support Baptist Health is because of how important it is to continue this growth. They're hiring the best physicians, all the different new specialties. They're keeping up with all new developments. So they cannot continue doing that without the support of the community. By investing with Baptist, not only am I helping Baptist itself with the equipment, with getting the state-of-the-art physicians, but it also helps the community.
Well, I included Baptist in my plans because of my mother. She was the #1 volunteer at rehab. We were both volunteers, but she would be in rehab 3 times a week from 6 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, and they loved her. On her deathbed, she said to me, "Gloria, take care of the hospital." The charitable remainder trust is a great benefit. Not only are you giving, you're also receiving, and hey, that's not bad in these days. I have a lot of friends in my age category, single women, who have been here to Baptist, and I know they're in very good hands. That's why I tell them about my charitable trusts and what I have done, hoping that they'd jump on the bandwagon. I don't know if they had or not, but it would be a good thing if they did.
I included Baptist in my estate planning. Carolyn and I made a decision that we could help this great institution, one that I have followed over 20 years. And I've seen the growth in services, the growth in the Baptist way, the growth in patient safety, the growth in patient satisfaction and doctor satisfaction. I'd like to tell my friends that it feels really good to support a great institution like Baptist. You get a lot of satisfaction out of just giving. You will be able to say, I did it. I'm a part of something really, really good. And we thank you for your consideration. Don't give till it hurts. Give till it feels good.
The reason I gave a gift annuity was that the foundation came to me and offered me to be the first person to have one. So with that privilege, I couldn't hardly turn it down. And I felt very honored. And then over the years, I have found myself in a position where I could give a second one. And with the thought in mind and the hope and the prayer that Baptist will continue many, many years on into the future, long after I have left. I try to get my friends and my family involved in giving gift annuities to Baptists for a threefold purpose. One, of course, you know, with the income tax, you have a big write-off the first year. And then from there on, you're getting a very high rate of interest on your money that right now you're not getting any rate on your money. And thirdly, then you get a check once a year, which is very handsome, and by the time the 10-year period is up that you give it for, the money has served its purpose and will do a lot more in the future. My husband worked with me also when he was alive. And now that I've lost him, Baptist has become even more important in my life as somewhere to go and to give back to the community some service, because I have freely taken the good along the way. And I encourage my friends not only to volunteer to give of their time, but to give of their money.
Well, I worked at American Bankers for about 40 years. Started off at a low position and ended up as chairman of the board and CEO. After American Bankers, I retired, and then I came up with the idea, well, what am I going to do? And I decided really I'd try to do whatever I could to make Miami more of a world-class city. Well, why do I give to a particular organization? Well, the first thing I try to do is to figure out what is it doing for the community. And number two is how good is the management? And number three is how good is their plan of operation? And if all three of these things mesh, then I try and give both my time and money. And there are three things you can give. You can give time, you can give talent, or you can give money. And basically, I try to give both time and money. What do I want to see from the organizations? I want to see growth. I want to see that they're fulfilling their mission. I want to see that what they're doing for the community really is good, not only for the underclasses, but for every class that they possibly can serve. So much of the work that I do is community-wide. You ask the question, well, why have I put different organizations into my estate plan? That's a pretty easy answer. And the answer is this: there's only really three things you can do with money. Number one, you can give it to your kids. We all know if you give them too much, it can be a negative. Number two, you can give it to the government. Or number three, you can give it to charity. So the choices get pretty limited and they're pretty easy to make. So that's why it's pretty easy to put into your estate planning gifts to charity. Why have I put Baptist Health in my will? Well, that's an easy answer. Number one, I think it's one of the two finest hospitals in the country. Number two, I admire greatly the work that Brian Keeley has done as a manager, building that hospital and making it a community jewel. And then number three, I'm going to die pretty soon, and I want to make sure that I'm well taken care of during my final days. I figure if I do something in my will now to take care of Baptist Health, maybe they'll take the best possible job taking care of me. What would encourage others to give to their estate plans? Let's see. Well, the first thing we have to determine is who they are. And there are really just two classes of people. They're the when I dies and the if I dies. Now the when I dies are pretty easy. You just have to make sure that they are really motivated to take the action of seeing the proper estate attorney and putting either a new codicil on their will or adding it to a new will. The if I dies are a little more difficult. You have to convince them that this is really going to happen. Once that this is done, then they have to do the same thing as the when I dies. Well, in closing, let me say to you, I hope you'll join me in giving to Baptist. It's an awfully good organization. It's well run. And believe me, all of you are going to be when I dies sooner or later. You might as well stop procrastinating and taking care of this like now.